What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is the video. This is it. This is the one that this thing goes on the ground. I promise. I swear. I have all of these parts just waiting to go on it. I put it up on jack stands last night and sprayed PB Blaster on every single frickin' bolt I could see that I thought I'd be touching over the next few days. And we are now ready to start working on the frickin' car. I am excited. I'm really stoked. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and start on the front suspension. It looks a little bit easier, not as many components. What we're looking at here is this is the strut. It connects directly to the back of the knuckle right there. And then the lower control arm attaches there and there to the chassis, and then down there to the knuckle. Those are both going to be replaced, as well as I'm going to remove the spring and replace it with a bag and a mount for top and bottom. So not too bad up front. It's really not too bad. I looked it up and it looks pretty simple. The rear is where it's a little bit more complicated. So if you guys watched the last video, you know I said that there was a 5-link suspension. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a lower control arm, and that's 5. So 5 different links that hold the spindle or knuckle, whatever you want to call it, to the chassis of the car. So yeah, I'm just going to dive into it. The fun part is going to be putting the new stuff on and having it all new, all nice. And then after that, I run lines and I'll have a bad car, I guess, at that point. So here we go. Update. This thing is not coming apart very easily at all. I did spray it with PB Blaster and I let that shit marinate overnight, but didn't really help. None of this suspension stuff has ever been taken apart from what I could see. The struts, 195,000 miles, they're stock. Just got one of the springs out, and this guy is going to be replaced by this guy. Just about got the front suspension taken apart here. I just got to take off the strut, which is like 3 bolts right there on the knuckle. And then 1 bolt down there for the ball joint, and then 2 more bolts up there, and the lower control arm should come out. And then I can start putting new stuff on, and then do the other side. It's going to be a long few days, but hopefully I can get it done. It is a little while later, and I haven't really gotten that much further. I just got the strut out. It definitely has been in 31 years, I'll tell you that. This is the 3rd bolt that holds it in, and as you can see, it's in 2 pieces. This thing's gone. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let me see if we get a flashlight. Check this out. So right here is the locking bolt that holds on the ball joint that holds on the control arm. But right here on the back of it, there's like a little crack right there. And in that crack from the factory, they put this stuff in there that kind of oozes out, and it protects it from corroding and all that stuff. So that's factory. This control arm has never been off. This ball joint has never been replaced. This suspension has never been taken apart, period. And it's fighting me the entire way. So I am currently using a jack to loosen a bolt because it's so freaking tight. There we go. I got the one side completely taken apart. As you can see, there's frickin' nothing there anymore. I just got the old strut and control arm out. Control arms are right here. This guy is original to the car. And this one is the one I got from Dorman. It's got all new bushings all the way around and a new ball joint up here. And then it also has, this is the Commonwealth front lower bag seat, I guess you could say. So it's already mounted up. It just has a bolt that goes through the bottom right there and mounts up right there. And then the bag will sit on top of it. It's got threaded holes right there that align with those. And it'll go right there. And I have some bolts to attach it from the bottom. And then the front also gets, I think it's the big cups. Those are little guys for the back. I think the front upper part also gets the big cups. So it'll be control arm, the Commonwealth lower mount, a bag, and then on top of the bag, just like that. And that'll go up into the cup of the suspension right here where the spring went up. So it goes right up there. All right, guys, I just got the upper strut mount out, and I wanted to show you guys the difference between this one and the R29 one that's going to be replacing it. So this is the stock OEM W124, S124, all that. And this is the R129 one. See how much taller this one is? Which means the actual strut body has this much taller it can travel, which means the car will actually get lower to the ground. I explained it in the last video. This is a really common mod done by a lot of the W124, S124 guys when they are bagging these things, because the strut literally goes that much higher into the body. And it's just like an OEM replacement part. There's no custom work, nothing like that. This bolt's right in the same spot as the old one did, and you just install as normal. Update on the passenger side. I was taking that same bolt off that I broke, taking the strut off on the driver's side, and it broke. I'm not going to call it a night till the front suspension on the passenger side is completely taken apart. I still have to run to a local store here and go get some air fittings for the bags and all that stuff. But I wanted to kind of put it together and figure out what fittings I needed before I went there. So tomorrow, I'll probably start the day off with going to grab some fittings, and then I think I'm going to bag the front before I touch the rear. That way, at least that's all the way done. So yeah, coming along slowly but surely. And it's Wednesday, so I have rest of tonight, Thursday, and Friday to get it bagged. Having little struggles, but not a big deal. Hopefully get the car done. And yeah, so. All right, and there's your replacement right there. All right, I've now got the passenger side looking like the driver's side, which means all the way taken apart. Anyway, we will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, it's the next day. I had a meeting this morning, and then after the meeting, I went and got replacement bolts for the ones that I broke, so we're good there. And then I went to a place in town, which is like, it's called Air Hydraulic Systems, and it's basically like the best store in the world for anybody that does air ride stuff. I mean, they make like high pressure hydraulic lines and all that stuff too, and they don't like specialize in air ride stuff, but Air Hydraulic Systems, they have every fitting you could possibly want. Where when you're bagging something, you're like, oh, I need a 90 here, a push to connect 90, I need something like that. And you're gonna have to order them online. Not me. I can go get, look at this, I got one right there. Like, it's awesome. It's awesome to have a store like that nearby. Well, I got fittings for the bags. I got some push connects and 90s, some other bushings and stuff. And then also this morning, I was talking to my buddy Franz on Instagram, and he has a S124 that is bagged, and he's been helping me out all along the way. He's been giving me advice, telling me, hey, do this, do that, make sure you do this, stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. He is also running the Commonwealth kit on his S124, and he told me something about the front bottom brackets that don't allow you to get as low as possible, and he gave me a little advice. So here we have the control arm. This is the bracket that goes on it right there, and then the bag goes on top of it. Now this I already trimmed. I didn't have the camera with me, so I didn't film any of it, but I did trim it already. As you can see, it's freshly cut along the edge there. It goes right about there, and I cut a little bit. I'll have pictures I'll throw up like right here, but I cut a little bit off of this because apparently when you air out, the metal over here hits part of the body, it won't let it get as low as possible. Now it's not really, the car would still be bagged, it'd still be on an air ride, but I want it to get as low as possible. And this is a little trick that a few of the guys use to get it lower than normal. So I got the fittings, I got the bolts that I broke, and I trimmed these up. So now I am ready to start putting the front end back together and then go from there. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a light coat of paint on those brackets that I just cut. That way it's not bare metal and they don't rust on me. So I'm gonna go do that and start putting stuff together. All right, we got the setup back together here. We have the control arm I got from Dorman. This is the Commonwealth bottom bracket, the SS5 bag from Slam Specialties, and then all we gotta do is put a top hat on it just like that. Well, also, we have to put some fittings on it. Take that off, put some fittings on it, then I can put the top hat on, and then this whole assembly can go in the car. Almost done with the front. So I'm checking out range of motion here, and there's the center of the hub, and there is the top of the wheel arch. So that's all the way out. That's bag fully compressed back there. If you can imagine a wheel in that, the center of the wheel being there instead of normally probably right there, this thing's gonna get pretty low, I think. Bag is all the way compressed, nothing is hitting. This corner is 100% done. All I gotta do is run an airline to it when I get to that point, but as far as hardware and all that, we are good. Everything's back on, the brakes are back on. So this corner is done. Just gonna do the other side. And then I think I'm gonna start tackling the rear tonight just to get some of that stuff out of the way, because I basically have to finish it up tomorrow. So It might be a late night tonight and a late night tomorrow. But moving on, gonna go ahead and put the passenger side front together and then keep moving. All right, the fronts are done. Driver's side and then passenger side. We are all done. We are buttoned up, the brakes are on. I could technically run air lines to it, put air in the bags, and put this thing on the ground, on the front anyway. I should probably start on the rear. So I'm gonna stop talking and go start on the rears. All right, guys, we're not too far into the rear end here, and I already broke a bolt, so there's that. Let me show you. Right there. It's just broke off right there. That's bolt for the sway bar end link there that goes down to the control arm. Not off to a great start. Broke the first bolt on the control arm. I don't know how I'm gonna get that out, but we'll try, I guess. Either that or I gotta disconnect it up here and then get a new sway bar end link for the new control arm if I just can't get this one out. Hopefully these next two bolts aren't that bad, and then the bolt up here for the control arm and the bolt back there for the control arm. Hopefully none of that's very bad. So these two bolts, the nuts came off just fine, and I smacked the crap out of them, and they're not really budging. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is, this is the self-leveling suspension to strut right here. This is like the shock is gonna replace this. It looks like it doesn't really wanna come out right now. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is, by the way, this bolt won't come out either. I tried smacking the shit out of that with a punch, and it's just not budging. So disconnect the top there, disconnect that, and then take that bolt out and maybe lower the whole thing down. Because at this point, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get these out to get the shock out by itself. And this is broke off and won't come out. Boom! Hell yeah. Who needs spring compressors when you can just do that? Bye-bye, spring. All right, guys, we're at the super fun and exciting part where I take these old links and replace them with these new links. I already got one out, and it wasn't that bad, so I'm just gonna replace those real quick. I was kind of confused as to where the airline is supposed to go, because the bag just goes straight up into the cup, and there's like no holes in here anywhere. So I hit up my buddy Franz. He's like, oh yeah, you just drill a hole into the body and it comes out and you can run the line there. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't want to drill holes or cut up the body, but if it's just 2 holes in the whole car, I think it's fine. As soon as I get one of the corners done, I'll be really excited because I'll be like that much closer. But then I still got to run lines, which isn't a huge deal, but I got to run lines. So with these Commonwealth lower control arms for the rear, what I'm going to do just to start off with is I'm just going to set the length pretty much the same as the stock arm just to have a starting point, and maybe I'll get a little froggy later and adjust it or change it. I might need to change it if I put different wheels on it, but for now, I'm just gonna line up the holes here and the holes here and run with it. The driver's side is done. Driver's side is done. All right, now I just gotta do the passenger side. It's like 9 p.m. right now. Hopefully I'm done sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. so I can get some sleep and wake up and drive this thing to the show. If everything goes right, I think I can have this done tonight, so we'll see. Stay tuned. What you're looking at right there is the last piece of the stock suspension I'm taking off, right there. It's 12:17 a.m. the night before. All 4 corners are done. I just have to run lines, put a little air in the bags, check clearances and whatnot, put the wheels on, and then we're good to go. I mean, the interior is not going to be put together. My entire center console's ripped out right now. The back is a mess, but it should be bagged here in a little while. It shouldn't take me too long to run lines. Here we go. All right, guys, lines are run. The bags are all hooked up. Everything's good. Now I just gotta turn the car has dead battery right now because I left the ignition on, but I just gotta start the car. I'm gonna throw a little bit of air in the bags and get it on the ground and see what happens. It's a huge mess back here, and I don't really care. This is honestly just to, if I could just get the car to the show bagged, great. I'll do all the cleanup work later. I'll make it look nice and everything, but for right now, I just want to get the car to the show. We're getting there. Right now I'm going to each corner and putting a little bit of air in the bag. As long as it seats properly up there, we're good to go. All right, all the bags are at 99 or 100, just about. I'm gonna let them sit here for 10-20 minutes, see if the bags go down at all. If they don't, I'll put the wheels and tires on. If they do go down a good bit, or even a little bit, I want to inspect that and see where the leak is, because I'd rather catch it now than later. We are looking pretty good. I'll take 97, 98, not bad. Last jack stand. Oh. Now the last jack stand? There we go. Should probably get that tool out too. There we go. All right, this is with 100 PSI in the bags all the way around. I mean, it looks lower. It looks pretty even front and rear though. Check this out. It looks lower. All right, it looks pretty stock. That is lower than stock though, I can tell you that. I'm gonna make sure nothing's touching, and then I'm gonna air this thing out. We'll do the rear first. Oh God, this thing's getting low. Okay. All right, it's at full zeros. It's all the way aired out. You guys are gonna see it with me for the first time aired out. All right, I'm gonna look over here. I'm looking over here, not gonna look at the car. Not gonna look at the car. Not gonna look at the car, gonna get in the corner, and then we're gonna look at it. Oh my God, holy shit, that is low. What the, that is low. That's way lower than I thought it was gonna be. What the oh my God. It is laid out, oh my God. Look at this thing. You probably can't tell in the video, but this thing is freaking slammed. Oh my goodness. I feel so tall right now, and I'm really not. Ugh. I'm gonna get a leg workout getting out of this damn thing. I should probably look it over once before I take it for a drive, but I really want to take it for a drive. I'll put air in the bags, and I'll make sure it holds the air just fine. And I'm gonna take a look around and see how the bags are doing, see if they're touching anything, and then I'll take it for a drive. Oh my, this thing is so low. I don't know what I was picturing, but it wasn't this low. This is awesome. All right, we have about 115 PSI in every bag. We're gonna go for our first maiden voyage. Pressures up. Test drive went all right. It went okay. I had some noises in the back. I pulled over. I think I just wasn't high enough, so I bumped the pressures up, drove a little more. It seemed to work. Something was binding still a little bit, but I got to figure that out. But I mean, other than the steering wheel being a little crooked, it drives pretty nice. Right now I have like 150 PSI in the bag, so it's a little bit stiffer of a ride, but if I lower the pressure down, it'll ride great. Honestly, looking at the car, I have 150 PSI in the bags right now, and it's like stock height. Actually, we can measure this because I did the measurements beforehand. Where's that box? Where's that box? I wrote on the box. Ugh. Boom, 26 3/4, 27 3/4. Let's see what we're at now. All right, before the front was 26 3/4. We were at 27 1/4. 27 1/4, so it's higher than stock in the front. Let's see what we're at in the back. It was 27 3/4. It is still 27 3/4. So we went up to 27 1/4 and 27 3/4. It is taller than stock height. Every other car I've had, you're not going to get it back to stock height once you bag it. Like, even with all the pressure of the bags, it's just not going to happen. This thing apparently did it. Well, that's going to go ahead and do it for tonight. I'm really freaking tired. I just looked at my watch that isn't on my wrist. What am I doing? What time is it? 2:20 in the morning. I got to be there between 9:30 and 10, so I still got time for sleep. I'll see you guys in the morning. Before I go to bed, I want to give a shout out to everybody that helped me out. Dorman Products came through, gave me some control arms, some links for the rear. Huge help. It's a lot of parts that I knew I needed to replace, and it just got the project done faster, honestly. The control arms look great. Everything looks great. Everything's working great. So shout out to them. Commonwealth Chassis Works up in Canada. They made the bag kit for it, which is the mounts. And then I have SS5 Slam Specialty bags. And then I have Airlift 3P Management. Huge shout out to all my friends online that helped me decide on a setup and like what shocks to get, how to do things, where to run lines, everything like that. This is freaking cool. Having it aired out next to me is freaking cool. And the fact that I can make it look like it's stock height. So I'm going to drive it tomorrow to the show at stock height. So it's just going to look completely stock. And then once I get in position, I'm just going to air the thing out and it's just going to, oh, I love this thing so much more now that it's bagged. It just looks so dirty. That's low. I love how it's 100% stock, but slammed on the freaking ground. That's awesome. And I need to put these on tomorrow. So I'll be doing that in the morning. I don't want to do it right now. I'm really tired. I'm going to go get some sleep. See you guys in the morning. I wanted to come out in the garage early this morning and look over everything again. One of the front bags was kind of going up at a weird angle, and the bag was actually touching the strut, so I adjusted that a little bit. Doesn't look like it's gonna be a problem now. I could adjust it more later. Coming out to the garage this morning and seeing this thing freaking laid out was awesome. And seeing it just sitting in my driveway at literally stock height is crazy to me. And then I just push a button and it goes all the way to the freaking ground. It's awesome. We are on our way to the show. This is now the furthest I've driven the car since bagged. I mean, I think everything's fine. I don't think anything's rubbing. And I found a nice little preset. I don't know how low the car is right now, but it's probably not very low, but 130 in the front, 135 in the rear. That seems to be like a nice, like it feels nice going down the road. At 150 or 155, it was kind of a bit rough. You can tell there was a lot of air in the bags. But at like 130, 135, this feels freaking great. My steering wheel is a little crooked, but not that much. And it's not like pulling one way or the other, just going straight. So not that bad. It's doing great at highway speeds. It's not bouncy in the back. It's just cruising. And we're at 130 in the front, 135 in the rear. We're about halfway there. So got about another 10-15 minutes and I'll be there. Well, there's the gate. We made it. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get over 1320 booth. Kyle said if the car made it, I could park there. So I'm gonna go find the 1320 booth and air this bitch out.
Oh snap, Fred got the wagon done in time for the car show. Drop it like it's hot. Oh, damn. Yeah, look at that. That's sick. Nice. Ooh. See us. Dude, this looks pretty incredible. I had high expectations, but I didn't think it was gonna look this good.
Yeah, no, I didn't. And it's just bags. It looks just a clean car, 100% stock other than bags. I like it.
It looks super good.
I kind of like the stock wheels, to be honest.
It does. It looks super good.
Yeah. All right, guys, today was successful. I really wanted this car done for the show, and it just happened to work out that I got it done this morning. It's riding really nice. I'm finding like pressures that I like. The rear sway bar, mind you, is not hooked up at all because the sway bar end links were so freaking corroded I couldn't get them out in one piece. So I have those on order, and then the front sway bar is half hooked up. I don't know what I did with the other bushing, and I just left it off. But it hasn't really given me any problems or anything like that. Really happy to see this thing on the ground finally. This is what I wanted to do with the car back in November. So I guess it's freaking 8 months ago. Wild. Has I really had this car 8 months? No. This year's gone by so fast. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you get a notification every other time I drop a video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Later.